In this video, we're going to be talking about Finnish Saunas 101. Whether you plan on visiting Finland in the near future or if you have a sauna at home and just want to know how to Finn sauna, this is the video for you. Moikka, hey there. If we've never met before, my name is Shirley and I live in Finland with my husband and our 2 kids. If you're wondering what an English-speaking Asian person is doing in Finland, you can go ahead and check out this video, and I will also leave it down below for our backstory. First and foremost, if you're going to be saunaing in Finland, you need to know that sauna in Finland is actually pronounced sauna. Sauna is actually a Finnish word, but somehow Americans and those outside of Finland started to say sauna instead of sauna. Just keep in mind that you might want to call it a sauna when you're in Finland. Did you know that there are more saunas in Finland than cars? Finland is estimated to have about over 3 million saunas versus about 2.5 million cars. I think this study was taken in 2023, so the numbers might have gone up even a little bit more. Finland is a very small country with a population of 5.5 million people, so that is a lot of saunas. Regular sauna use provides numerous health benefits, including improved cardiovascular health, stress reduction, muscle pain relief, and also better sleep quality. Through sweating inside the sauna, it supports detoxification, and then the heat also help relax your muscles and stimulate the release of feel-good endorphins. There are 2 types of saunas. You can either have a sauna in your house or in your apartment, or you can also have a detached sauna, kind of like a detached garage, so a building that is not connected to the main residence. Sauna stoves in apartment buildings and houses are most likely electric saunas, and detached saunas will most often have a wood-burning stove. We're currently staying at our family cabin and we have a detached sauna here. So let's go ahead and start off with that. Come on. For the sake of making this video, I'm going to be wearing a robe, but if you come to Finland and you go to a sauna that's split between males and females, you're expected to go in your birthday suit, aka completely naked. When you go to a public sauna with both men and women in the same sauna session, you might be expected to wrap a towel around yourself or maybe have a bathing suit on. But if you're going to a private sauna, or if you are going to a women-only or a men-only sauna, just know the dress code is nakedness. All right, let's go ahead and head into the sauna. This is what our sauna looks like. I've recently learned that we actually have the Rolls Royce of wood-burning saunas. The other type of wood-burning sauna, you would just have to continually add firewood in order to keep the heat going. Our sauna stove is by Aito Kiuas Helsinki, and the model is AK57. So this type of wood-burning sauna, it takes you a couple hours to warm it up, but once you warm it up, you don't have to keep adding wood. It will stay warm for hours on end. You heat it up by putting firewood in here. It's not on right now, so that's why I can show you and I can touch it with my hands. And once it's heated up, you can open up the hatch, and this is where the heat comes from. If you have it closed, it will stay warm for a very long time. So in between sessions, if you're changing parties, for instance, if people are coming in and out, you can close it in between different families. And inside are lots of rocks. You see the rocks? The rocks inside our sauna stove actually are round like this, so that you can fit more rocks inside. But if you have an electric stove, you'll likely find this type of rocks piled on top. And just real quick about electric saunas, the ones that you will find most often in homes and apartments. You're also likely to find them outside of Finland because a lot of people outside of Finland that have saunas use Finnish sauna stoves. Inside the stove, you'll see electric coils that kind of go like this, and they light up and turn red once you turn it on. Very similar to how our electric ovens work. And on top of the coiling, you will find sauna rocks at the top, and that's where you will pour the water. It's very simple to work an electric sauna. You just turn on the knob. And if you haven't realized that already, saunas in Finland are very dark. There's only a very small light that gets turned on because it just feels nice to sit in almost complete darkness with the heat. All right, so there's different levels here you can sit on. Here we have a baby step, and then 1, 2, 3, and then that's the bench. So as you know, heat rises, and since this is where the heat comes from, that corner seat at the top is going to be the warmest spot in the room. You can sit over here if you want it less hot, and then kids can also sit down here. Our 5-year-old son currently sits about there right now. Sometimes he would venture up to the 3rd step, but he will come up and down in between the 2. Before you sit down on the bench, you want to make sure that you have a butt pad or a seat pad. So ours here look like this. They're wooden, so that they can be reused. So these come in different forms. You can have either a wooden one like this, or you can have towels like this. Or if you are going to a public sauna, you might also find paper versions. We actually have some in here, I'll show you. So they look like this. They're just single-use paper towel pads. In our sauna, we also have pillows here. It's nice to lie down in the sauna because then that way the heat distributes evenly between your head and your feet. Otherwise your head might get too hot too fast. It's nice to lie down when you have the space, so that's something you can do. Or if you're sitting here, you can also put your feet up on a railing. Okay, now let's talk about temperatures in saunas. So as you can see, the sauna is not on. It's currently at 25 degrees Celsius. So different people like different temperatures, and my father-in-law says that he prefers it at 100 degrees Celsius, which is about, let me see, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. 80 to 90 degrees Celsius is comfortable enough for me. So 80 degrees is about 176 Fahrenheit, and 90 is about 194 degrees Fahrenheit. I think 100 is just way too hot. Even 90 sometimes I have to sit on the lower step. But of course, saunas are also built different. Electric saunas tend to be a little bit more dry, and the heat is a little bit more intense in my opinion. A wood-burning sauna feels a lot better. It just feels like more natural, the heat. Now let's talk about löyly. Löyly is the Finnish term for the steam that comes out of the sauna when you pour water onto the rocks. This sauna was warmed up last night. The doors have been kept open this morning, so I don't think the rocks are that hot anymore, but let's try and get that löyly sound for you. So you'll always find a bucket of water and a little scoop inside saunas. I don't think this is gonna give a very accurate representation, but let's try it. Okay, so there's still a little bit left. When you first pour water onto the rocks for löyly, I'm still trying to pronounce this word. You'll feel a wave of heat come up and it kind of hits you in the face. It sometimes burns a little bit. You just get this rush of hot air coming over at you. And then slowly the steam in the air will fall on your body and then it will start dripping down your body like sweat. So löyly is a very important part of a sauna session because it helps release water and moisture into the air to keep you hydrated. But of course, you want to make sure you have a beverage in the sauna. Now, my beverage of choice for saunas is always a large bottle of water, just because I drink a lot of water throughout the day. My husband doesn't drink alcohol, but he does like to have a non-alcoholic beer in the sauna. My father-in-law drinks beers, and I think most men, and probably some women too, also like to enjoy beers in the sauna. You might have heard that alcohol and saunas don't mix. That's not the case here in Finland. That's probably the go-to choice of drink for most people in saunas. Some people also like to heat up sausages in the sauna. But how do you do that? Well, my father-in-law just puts a pot over the stove and just have the sausages inside with a lid on it. For electric burning stoves, you can wrap up the sausages in tin foil and just put it on top of the rocks. And then so in between sauna sessions, when you're cooling down, you can also enjoy a sausage with your beer. So let's go ahead and head outside because I would like to show you how to cool down in between sauna sessions. Outside, this is our little bench that we can sit. You also want to bring your seating pad out here. So you can just sit out here and let the temperature outside cool you down before you go back in. I would say the longest session is probably your first session, meaning the longest you stay in the sauna is probably the first time you go in. And then every time you come out and every time you go back in, the sessions get a little bit shorter each time. If you're lucky enough to visit a sauna that's near the water, that's probably the best way to cool down. So we have access to a lake right next to our family cabin, and let's go have a look. The cooler you get, the longer you can stay for your next session. We have a little ladder here and you would just make your way down. In the wintertime, our lake here freezes over. So what the family would do is they would cut a big hole into the ice and you can go ice dipping. I think I've only done that once and I actually got a cold after that. But it was definitely a fun experience and you should definitely try it out at least once in your lifetime. If you don't have access to a body of water during the winter and if there's snow on the ground, people also roll around in the snow. That's definitely an effective way to cool down as well. But if you are going to a sauna in an apartment building or a house, of course you'll have a shower there, so you can take a cold shower as well in between sessions, or you can go out to the balcony if there's a balcony in the apartment complex. So in between sauna sessions, when you're cooling down and then getting warmed up again in the sauna, you might notice that you'll have splotchy skin. So I sometimes would get it on my arms or on my shoulders and also my legs. If you do notice splotchy skin on yourself, that's nothing to be worried about. That is just your body's way of dealing with the intense cold and the intense hot and going back and forth. It usually will go away after like half an hour after you take a shower. We are in the shower room of our sauna and I'm going to show you real quick how to take a shower in a traditional Finnish sauna. So over here we have a water heater. Firewood goes in here and the firewood will warm up this bucket of water here. It would warm it up to almost a boiling point. So you have to be careful because the water here will be very hot. We have a well here on our property. This is the pump for the water, but you would also find a large bucket of cold water. If you are near the sea, you may very well have water from the sea here as well. So to make your water, you would need a bucket and a scoop. Scoop up some of the hot water and put it in the bucket. And then you want to come over to the cold bucket. It's not rocket science here. You just mix the hot and the cold water together. And once you've got the bucket of water to the temperature of your liking, you would just use the same scoop and scoop it over yourself and take a shower that way. It was a little bit awkward the first couple times I did this, just because you're so used to taking showers at home with a shower head, that having to do this seems like a lot of work. But since then, I've come to really enjoy this part of the sauna process. It's just a part of the sauna ritual, and it's really not the same without it. So some families will have their cottage way out in the middle of the woods, and they might not have any running water or electricity. And so the only way for you to take a shower at these cabins is to come to the sauna and make your own warm water to take a shower. This here is kind of a makeshift shower head. You will find the other end here, and you would just drop it into the bucket. There's a little power button here, and you turn it on and you'll get a trickling of water from the shower head. I don't like using it because the pressure is very low. It's not a lot of water, so I prefer doing it the old-fashioned way of just dumping water over your head. And when you're done taking a shower, you will likely also find a huge squeegee. It might look like a squeegee for the window, but it's actually a floor squeegee. So you would just want to guide the water into the drain that's in the room so that the floor is not as wet for the next person. I've had people ask me, how long do sauna sessions last? That's a hard question to answer because everybody is different. Every sauna is different, and everybody is different from day to day, depending on what time of the day you're taking the sauna, depending on how much food you've eaten, what kind of food you've eaten. So it's hard to answer that question. I would just say that stay in the sauna for as long as you feel comfortable. When you start to get too hot, your body has a way of telling you that it's too hot and it's time for you to go outside. Usually when you start to feel your heart racing or you start to feel uneasy, you don't have to stay in the sauna for as long as your friends or the other people around you. Just do what's most comfortable to you on that particular day. Your body will tell you when it's time to go outside. Now, if you start to feel a little bit lightheaded or if you start to feel dizzy, that might be a good sign for you to pause your sauna session and maybe continue another day. That's probably not a good time to lie down in the sauna. You want to make sure that you stay hydrated not only during your sauna session, but also the hours leading up to it, because you want to make sure you have enough fluids in your body. And sometimes drinking just water is not enough. So make sure you get some electrolytes in, get some coconut water, get some mineral water in your system before you go to the sauna, especially if you are new at going to saunas. Now, I'm certainly not the right person to give anyone medical advice, but just as a general rule, if you have heart conditions or if you have high blood pressure, I would definitely consult with your doctor if you have reservations about going into saunas. Make sure to check with a medical professional. All right, now let's talk about the different accessories you can have inside the sauna. Wow, look at the view. Okay, I digress. All right, so the accessories that you can bring into the sauna, we can start with the whisk. So there are two different names you can use for the sauna whisk. I think depending on what part of Finland you're from, they call it different names, but I'll leave it here for you because I don't remember what it's called. Essentially, a sauna whisk is made of branches of birch trees. Oh, actually, let's go over here. We have a birch tree right here. So it's the fall now. It's definitely not the right time to make a sauna whisk yourself. You can just take little branches like this in the summertime and wrap it up so that it looks like a hand broom almost. And to use it in the sauna, you would just dip the bundle of branches and the leaves into a bucket of water and you just slap yourself with it, just like your back, your front, your legs. But you want to make sure you keep it in a bucket of water so that it doesn't dry out because the sauna is very hot, obviously. So the benefits of having a sauna whisk is that it improves blood circulation, and it's also nice that the oils from the leaves will also transfer onto your body. It's like natural essential oils. But if you're visiting Finland outside of the early summer and you're not able to make your own sauna whisk, there are stores in Finland where you can find pre-made branches any time of the year. They're sold frozen. So you would just take it out of the freezer and soak it in a bucket of water and use it the same way in the sauna. Some people also make a ton of these during the summertime and also freeze it themselves to use throughout the year. Besides sauna whisks, there are also sauna hats that you can wear. I don't have one myself, but I think they're made of wool. You want to keep it on your head because if you're sitting in the sauna, heat rises again, right? So you want to keep your head from getting too hot too fast. So some people also like to wear sauna hats. And then there are also scents that you can put into the water for Löyly. And there are different scents you can get. You would just pour the sauna scent into the water and scoop out the water as you would normally to put it on the stones for the Löyly. And then once you splash it into the stove, the scent will pretty much fill the room. So that's a way to give yourself a little aromatherapy in the sauna as well. Now, I've also seen people with like little statues that you put into the sauna. And there's also a little bowl that's part of the statue. And you can just kind of place that into the corner of the sauna, pour some of the liquid into the little cavity there so that it disperses the smell. If you're wondering what the age range is for going to saunas, there are people in Finland that take their babies as young as a couple months, maybe 5 or 6 months into the sauna. They might sit on the very bottom step just so that it doesn't get too hot for the baby. And tons of elderly people enjoy saunas, probably almost every single day. When I visited Korean saunas, you will have different sauna rooms made with different things. Like you can have a jade sauna where the whole wall is made of jade, or you can have, I don't know, like different types of sauna rooms. And I've always seen signs posted on their walls saying that if you are pregnant, you should not be going into the sauna. Again, I'm not giving any medical advice, but I know a ton of people that go to the sauna when they are pregnant. Of course, you have to listen to your body, make sure you don't sit too close to the stove and too high up if it's too hot for you. And some women also slap their bellies with that sauna whisk. By doing that, they introduce saunas to their babies even before they were even born. In the old days, women in Finland actually give birth in saunas. Of course, it would not be, 100 degrees or anything, but it's just easy to wash. So people used to give birth in saunas. One more thing you are most definitely going to encounter in a Finnish sauna is a talkative Finn. A lot of business dealings are made in the sauna and important conversations are had in saunas. Overall, Finns are known to be somewhat reserved. So somebody you might know outside of a sauna might not be very talkative. The moment you step into a sauna, you're probably going to see a different side of that person. So a talkative Finn is something you will likely encounter in a Finnish sauna. All right, so that's all I have for you in this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel to learn more about life in Finland. I hope you found some things fascinating or even learned something new. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way to sauna. Just do whatever fits for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy your sauna. Moi moi!